What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 60 of the College Loop Podcast. Just me and Tar in the studio today. And before I'm about to just throw it right into it. Tar, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. No complaints. Ready to talk some Auburn ball, Payton Thorne, shocker, and Diamond Sports. Wow, we got a big slate of Diamond Sports today.
Oh, yeah. And just to get it moving and grooving into football, we have a big question. Or do you want to start off with the offensive lineman first?
Let's go ahead and just drop the offensive lineman news, and then we'll move into the bigger question and the bigger debate on today's show that'll get you and I riled up. So
in case you were living under a rock, Auburn picked up their 9th offensive lineman from, I think, both the portal and the 23 recruiting cycle in general. But 9 O linemen in a singular recruiting cycle is wild.
bizarre, bonkers.
And Jade Muskrat, Tulsa offensive guard at 6'3", 300 pounds. Obvious ties to one Philip Montgomery. Philip with 1L, by the way.
Sure.
And looking at it from that, you just got another body in that offensive line. I don't think this is a guy that's going to start. I talked about in the Auburn Daily Show today with Mr. Andrew Stefaniak. You have 3 positions right now in the O-line that are set in stone. It's your tackles and your center. Left tackle, Dylan Wade. Right tackle, Gunnar Britton. And center, Avery Jones. And the guards are all up for grabs with Tate Johnson, Jeremiah Wright, probably the favorites, Connor Liu, Xavier Miller, Cameron Stutz, and Jaden Muskrat now in the mix for that. But overall, pretty daggum good offensive line.
It's much improved. The bar was on the floor. And Hugh Freeze and company were not messing around when they said that they were going to come in and identify positions of need, position groups of need. I think that anyone with any perception of football knew that this was going to be, I guess, priority 1A. And Hugh Freeze and company did so accordingly. So it's a good pickup for a depth rotation. You want to be able to let those big boys sub in and out, make sure that they are fresh as can be so that they can push that offensive line to protect a guy like Payton Thorne.
Yeah, they are so fresh and so clean, as one can say. But to get into the conversation about Payton Thorne, does Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery, do they tailor this offense into an RPO for, as you put, dual threat Payton
He's listed as a dual threat.
I mean, he can run. I've seen his highlights. He's a little shifty with it. I kind of compare him to a little Jarrett Stidham esque. He prefers to pass, but if he wants to run, he's got some sneaky athleticism out in the field.
Okay, whatever, Bill Belichick, whatever you say.
Hey, the play style is pretty much the same.
I can't call you Bill Belichick. We've been informed that you don't know as much ball as guys like him and Saban. So I've got to tailor there. By the way, I'm loving the YouTube banter. I'm fully embracing it at this point. So I'm here for it. I guess to answer that question, the short answer is sort of. I know it's a yes or no question, but the answer is in short, sort of. Long-winded answer, in my opinion, Dylan. I'm interested to get your thoughts. The days of running a true, pure RPO are so gone. It's too much of a simplistic approach. But at its core, I think yes. I think that was the direction that Auburn was already trending this way. If you had to go with Robbie Ashford, you certainly want to run the RPO. When you bring in Payton Thorne, not the strongest arm in the world, accurate arm, and can really take care of the football. We've seen him in the past take care of the football, and we know that capacity is there. I think you've got the stable of backs, and I noted this on the rundown, Dylan, that I feel comfortable in a run first RPO kind of spread offense. And I think that that's probably what suits Auburn the best. Now, does Auburn have the outside weapons to make defenses respect the pass option there? Is yet to be seen. We expect big things out of Cameron Brown, Coy Moore, and I think Nick Marner. We think can be significant. Rivaldo Fairweather, but we don't know how that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, and some more people,
and some more folks that are joining the Tigers, newcomers this year. Unproven on the outside, so you're not sure how schematically that all shakes out. But I do think, in large, at its core, that this should be a glorified RPO. Hate me if you will. Gus Malzahn offensive scheme. I mean, they're at its core, Malzahn's offensive scheme was a great theory and worked for a very long time. Problem is he didn't adapt with the times. Your thoughts, Dylan? Is the RPO still a feasible option here? I don't think it is in a pure form.
Yeah, it just depends on who you have at quarterback, really. We saw with Gus Malzahn, it worked very well with Nick Marshall. It worked very well with Jarrett Stidham. But it does not work very well when you have Sean White, Jeremy Johnson, John Franklin III, go back even further, Barrett Trotter.
Probably could have worked for Bo Nix if Bo Nix would have played a half decade sooner than he did.
Yeah, and you talk about the running backs of benefiting Payton Thorne. I mean, we saw what he can do with a great running back in the backfield. Kenneth Walker had his best season in 2021, and Payton Thorne also had his best season in 2021. And that's when that whole Michigan State team, when Mel Tucker was at the peak of his career, whether or not that is still going on is left
up
to be
for
determined.
interpretation.
But the thing about that Michigan State team, they went 11-2, finished I think second or third in their division, got the Peach Bowl win over Pitt.
Sure.
Big thing about that, Mel Tucker went ham on the transfer portal that year. And the thing about that, he was not sustainable in the transfer portal. But he did go full blown, all balls to the wall, crazy on the transfer portal, which looks very much like what one certain coach in Auburn, Alabama is currently doing. But overall, the wide receivers, we haven't seen what they can do quite yet because the 8A game, you kind of have to throw out the window. They were not showing. They were not showing us anything.
And in the moments that we got to see them in the spring, it underwhelming is an understatement, but also at the same time, I don't know, man. I don't think that there's a big enough sample size, and you and I both have a lot of, I guess, curiosity and hope for the careers of the remainder of the careers of Camden Brown and Coy Moore. But I don't know, man. It's tough schematically to justify saying, oh, well, we're going to go to a pure RPO. I think that's probably a boneheaded mistake. But mixing in RPO looks and the intuition that we all have that Robbie Ashford will still be involved, it makes this offense, which at its, like I keep saying at its very core, but the past 2 years has been the most elementary offense that we've seen Auburn run in a very long time. It takes that and makes it interesting because you throw all that crap out the window. And it's not as much me thinking that Hugh Freeze is a brilliant offensive mind. I do think he's a good offensive coach. Don't get me wrong there. But as much as I'm looking at this roster and thinking there are a lot of really interesting possibilities. When you have a stable of backs like Jarquez Hunter, Damari Alston, that list continues to go on and on and on. Some guys that we think might redshirt and not Jeremiah Cobb redshirt. I don't know if you can even use it. We'll discuss that later. But it's certainly interesting to see the possibilities with Payton Thorne at the helm. I think that there are a lot more offensive options. Maybe the triple option. I'm kidding.
Dear God, no.
A lot more options schematically. So I'm curious to see how that pans out, Dylan. And I think that a lot of people will be watching pretty closely, especially in those early non-con games. You get an early test with Cal, which I'm going to keep preaching it until I turn it into a clip for the Cal Golden Bears. That Auburn's not losing that game. But you'll find out earlier in the season about how that shakes out. I have a bit of a follow-up question, and we were talking about the stable of running backs. How does this offensive roster, how does it benefit Payton Thorne? And why? I mean, there's the recruiting aspect that Hugh Freeze is a good, if not great, recruiter. Why would Payton Thorne choose to come to Auburn following the season that it was at? Is there has to be a level of looking around this roster and saying, in this room and saying, okay, we can win here, right? Why is that, Dylan?
If you look at it, I think it comes down to the fact that the multiple media outlets are kind of underrating this team a lot. You look at it from top to bottom, you got to look at the running back rooms first. Jarquez Hunter is going to be a great running back for Auburn. And that is, if there's one thing that I am sure of this season, is that the Jarquez Hunter is going to have a great season in 2023.
Undoubtedly.
And even behind him, you have Brian Battie, who's probably going to be your kick return, who is going to be your kick return guy, but also probably be your passing down threat. Damari Alston, same thing. You can't keep Jeremiah Cobb off the field for 4 games. Then you look at it, the wide receiver room, Nick Barner, Camden Brown. Camden Brown has seen a lot of flashes of what he can really be. If he had a great quarterback, or at least a good quarterback.
Or at least an average quarterback.
At least a quarterback that can throw the ball accurately, consistently, unlike what Robbie Ashford could do. I love Robbie Ashford, believe me. and I hope Payton Thorne is going to make him better. But I think
Right.
we've seen the last of the Robbie Asher days. If unless Robbie Asher just turns into Nick
Him.
Marshall again, but the wide receiver room is good, and I think it gets a little too much flack for it because top to bottom, and it's not done yet. By the way, wide receiver room not done yet.
Not done.
Not
With
Jair
utmost
Taylor.
certainty, not done.
Caleb Burton coming in right after Payton Thorne. Wide receivers are wanting to come to Auburn for Payton Thorne. So if anything, if you went to how does Auburn's roster benefit wide receivers, Payton Thorne is the answer to that question.
True.
And the offensive line has gotten better. This is a team that Payton Thorne's not used to in his college football careers thus far. As this is a team that actively wants to protect their quarterback now.
And that's not been Auburn's shtick in the past.
Oh no, the last two quarterbacks, not the last two coaching campaigns were not very fond of great offensive linemen. We had
one of them wasn't even interested in recruiting, but whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, don't get me started on Potato Man. But even that point, you got to look at the fact that this defense is also really good. Outside the linebackers, we don't know about. Well, maybe not yet. We don't know yet. But
outside of linebackers, continue.
Outside of linebackers, the outside linebackers are good. The jack position, but the defense is really good. You can put your faith in that defense, especially with the secondary. And if you look at it from that point, I think as soon as Payton Thorne entered the portal, the first person that probably called him up as soon as it went through with Hugh Freeze. And that's because Hugh Freeze knew that this was a guy. What?
I'm laughing at our podcast speculating about who called who first. Continue.
Well, either way, I think this is a guy that Hugh Freeze probably wanted for a hot minute. A quarter, or at least a quarterback along the same lines. But with that,
to be clear, Dylan meant that after Payton Thorne declared that he was in the transfer portal. I'm reiterating.
As soon as the papers got confirmed through the NCAA, Hugh Freeze was looking for Payton Thorne's number, called his agent like a couple of hours after. But yeah, this is a quarterback that Hugh Freeze definitely wanted. That's why within 5 days he was able to get him to the Plains without even getting him on campus first. That's the crazy part.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm expecting big things for Payton Thorne in 2023.
Listen, not to tamper with your mood, but let's continue on to other. That's not me saying Auburn was tampering. I don't think they were at all. But the accusations against the pod were funny. They were funny. All right, we can laugh now. We can laugh. It's officially funny.
After I misspoke and all hell broke loose.
Yeah, Dylan, the damn podcast heard around the world. Why didn't it do numbers on YouTube then, guys? Like, subscribe, ring the bell while you're here. But like, what? Yeah, someone explain that one to me. Let's talk hardwood hoops real quick. Julian Phillips. That name ring a bell. Young man from the University of Tennessee. Poor Rick Barnes. I really hate it for him. Julian Phillips has hit the transfer portal. I don't know, for those of you hardwood fans, if you remember who it pretty much came down to when Julian Phillips was announcing his decision. Narrator, it was between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Auburn Tigers. He decided to wear that shade of orange, which is a choice, and play for Rick Barnes, also a choice. And now things are weird. Julian Phillips doesn't have a ton of draft stock. He just doesn't. Didn't see the court in a capacity that really proved that he should be taken in the NBA draft this year. And I don't know that there's a very long list of schools that he's interested in transferring to. I have no basis with this. It's all speculation. I have some basis, but this is all speculation. I have a lot of basis, but this is all speculation. Folks, I think it's a non-zero chance that Julian Phillips is an Auburn Tiger at this coming season. Not right now. This upcoming season. Let's make that crystal clear so we don't have to lose another episode. Dylan, how big of an addition would this be? Because we went from everyone hitting the panic button on Bruce Pearl to slowly but surely this class is coming together. The porthole is open. This, I think, makes Auburn a genuinely serious contender to win the SEC if this happens. Thoughts?
Yes, especially if you were to add in some other players that could also be transferring to other Tigers very soon.
You name drop Tyrin Lawrence. I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's
Tyrin Lawrence.
pretty common knowledge that there's potential traction there, and he did not make the NBA shortlist.
And neither did a couple of other basketball players, and Jaylin Williams and Johni Broome.
Bring it on home, John B. Bring it on home.
Yeah, so just looking at it from top to bottom real quick, hypothetical roster scenario.
Let's talk. And then after this, we're going to just say how many games that Auburn can win with this roster. And
all right, so
Sunshine Pump.
Starting five, you got your point guard, Aiden Holloway, your shooting guard, Denver Jones, your small forward, Jaylin Williams, your power forward, Julian Phillips, your center, Johni Broome, and then your off the bench players. Right off the bench, you got Trey Donaldson, Tyrin Lawrence, Chaney Johnson, KD Johnson, Leor Berman, Dylan Cardwell, and Chris Moe.
So, I'm going to sunshine pump here for a second, Dylan. It's what I do when we talk about Auburn basketball.
I got basketball. I got football. You got basketball.
Folks, Dylan, YouTube family, college, those who are looped in, if you will.
Loopers.
That is a team that could not only compete for an SEC regular season and tournament championship. That is a team that can make a run to the Final Four. I don't even think I'm talking that crazy. What Bruce Pearl is cooking right now, let him cook, is remarkable given where this program was at a month ago. I was a little concerned when Alan Flanagan hit the transfer portal. And then I heard news circle elsewhere. And then Tyrin Lawrence doesn't make the short list. And neither does Jaylin Williams, nor does Johni Broome. Well, I'm just going to leave it at this. Like I said, bring it on home, John B. This group could be really, really special, Dylan. And this could be a 25-plus win team in the regular season.
Oh, yeah. And with Aiden Holloway, if Jay Will can stay consistent, Julian Phillips, let him stroke that three a little bit. And if Johni Broome can get some shots up, you have a team that is going to be very known for shooting the three. Trey Donaldson has yet to have missed a postseason three in his career. Knock on wood. A team that can shoot the three, wearing that navy blue and burnt orange, should be very scary for other teams.
We've got Trey. All right, let's move over to the diamond. Lots, and I mean a lot, is going on right now. A lot of Auburn versus Ole Miss. Tiger on Rebel crime right now. So as this show's coming out today, this is the Thursday installment of the College Loop for this week. Auburn Softball's first pitch against Ole Miss is tentatively for 11 a.m., barring obviously weather and anything else that could happen in the world of softball, because we did see Auburn Baseball take on, get their midweek canceled. And I'm sorry, Dylan, I know you panicked for a second there. I'm not going to skip over baseball. I was just throwing that out there. Softball is playing, probably has already played by the time you're listening to this. And we will give updates on the Sunday show about how their run goes. We're going to talk baseball first. So Auburn Baseball is coming off back-to-back SEC series wins. I will take shit I did not expect to say for 1,000, Alex, this year. They are going into play. I have no other words for this, Dylan, and I'm sorry, back-to-back cursing here. One of the shittiest teams I've seen in the SEC in a minute. In the reigning College World Series champions, Ole Miss Rebels. It is amazing how the state of Mississippi just crashes and burns after they win a national championship. Unbelievable. Also, correction, Dylan, you just told me that it's 10 a.m. Central Time for softball. Yeah, we'll get there in a second. So Auburn's going to go to Oxford, which Swayze is a tough place to play. It's a tough place to play. This could be 4 straight SEC series wins. I've got 2 numbers for you, Dylan, before I turn you loose and get your thoughts on how Auburn wins this series. I've got 2 numbers. Auburn's combined team ERA, 7.09. Pretty bad. Bad. Pretty atrocious.
Very bad, one might say.
Ole Miss's team combined ERA, 7.27. Some way, somehow, we have found a 3-game series of home run derbies in the SEC. On the flip side of that coin, Auburn baseball has not been better this year. Auburn pitching has not been better this year than it has been the past 4 weeks. Really 5 weeks. That Alabama series, I thought Auburn pitched fine. We talked about that after that week. Dylan, I think that this is that. Don't let the Tigers get hot first and foremost. But is this the perfect storm?
I think so. And I think you should just sell your soul for a Friday night win, one might say.
Yeah, you just had to say that, right? Just because you're a little not superstitious, you were a little stitious.
Oh no, I'm extra stitious this week.
That's fine.
Whatever I got to say.
I think that Auburn can definitely win the series this weekend. I think this is Auburn's best chance at an SEC sweep.
You need to say it too.
What? Sell your soul for a Friday night win?
There you go. Okay.
All right, I said it on the show.
Yeah, so you're starting off. You get Tommy Vale's going to be a Friday night pitcher. There's not going to be an Eagle flight in Oxford. There might be, one might say, an Eagle might fly very good in Oxford.
The Eagle
Saturday.
could fly well. Yes, there's potential.
But looking at it from just what has happened, they run rule the number 1 team in the country, and then they have to travel to Oxford. And Auburn baseball in general hasn't had the best track record when traveling to Oxford. It's been a bit of a rough patch, and it would be nice if just getting 2 wins is fine. I was talking to Andrew Stefaniak, who said the magic number to host would be you get 5 more wins in the regular season.
In regular season play.
And so just mixing up between 2 teams who aren't in the top 10 of the SEC, which is in Missouri and Ole Miss. So gonna need 5 wins.
You need a sweep in a conference and a series win. That scenario would put you at 16-14 in the SEC. Folks, I got to sit up for this. That's freaking crazy. This team, we had all but thrown in the towel in March. I mean, let's call a spade, Dylan. We'd already said, maybe just chalk it up. Maybe you never count out a Butch team. We'll see how it goes, but it just might not be the year. Wow, this team can finish over 500 in the SEC. That is tremendous because I don't know how many of you guys are Baseball America nerds or NCAA ranking nerds. Every team above Auburn in the SEC standings, and including Auburn, is ranked in the NCAA top 25. In the Baseball America top 25. This is the deepest conference in the country for every sport. It's the best conference in the country for every sport. I'll get on my SEC bias pedestal. Tell me I'm biased all you want, and then show me how I'm wrong, and we'll talk. Baseball specifically, if you can keep yourself in the conversation in the SEC, you will not play but maybe a handful of teams in the postseason that could compete with the rest of your league. If Auburn can get to a point where they could host, I mean, they're Hoover's there, locked, which we didn't think was going to happen for a minute there.
A little worried.
This team could mess around and find out that they can host a regional. Dylan, this is crazy. I mean, I'm actually mind blown.
And also a huge shout out to Saturday Down South for ranking Auburn 9th in their SEC baseball power rankings.
Yeah,
huge shout out to them. And some people don't really know how power rankings work. That's what I found out. But yeah, again, you mentioned that we were already like shut down Joseph Gonzalez. Joe goes and no go rest of the season. That became that got like confirmed 2-3 weeks ago. I think before the last series win.
Yep.
And that was the moment where I was like, well, dang, that's the season. It was a fun ride. Auburn it was a fun offensive season. At least defense was a bit hard to watch, and then
it wasn't even the defense; it's just the pitching.
Yeah, true. But then a spark ignited, wildfire came out of Tommy Vale and whoever's pitching on Sunday. Like Herbert, I think it was Herbert Holes.
Yes,
on Sunday. What in the world?
Hi, hello. Okay.
Just getting random great pitching nights from these guys that we were all ready to be like, yeah, I can't wait for another guy to come in and start over this guy.
There are things in this world that should terrify anyone: debt collectors, mother-in-laws, Butch Thompson teams coming down the stretch when you have to play them. I don't get it. I don't know what makes it click. I really, it's baffling to me, really. For whatever reason, his groups tend to just peak at the right time. And if Auburn's peaking right now, if they're getting to where they're at that point, damn, I don't want to play the Tigers. And no one should want to play the Tigers right now. You saw what Auburn just did to LSU. Manhandled the number one team in the country. Call me a sunshine pumper all you want. I'm shocked. And shocked that the season has turned around to the point where it's at. Am I shocked that a team that does something like that is led by Butch Thompson? Absolutely not. One of the most, in my opinion, one of the most underrated college baseball coaches in the sport.
For sure.
People don't put enough respect on Butch's name. I will scream that from the rooftops. Don't let the Tigers get hot. That applies for softball. It really does. So let's Auburn baseball on one end of the spectrum here is coming in. They're playing that underdog card, and they're playing it late in the season because they were not super. They were slept on at the beginning of the year, but like kind of justifiably slept on. We kind of learned early on this team needs to figure some stuff out.
Yeah,
Auburn softball has embraced the villain role in its biggest form, which is awesome, by the way, Auburn fans. I know you always want everyone to, they're so respectful. Like, Auburn's so non-confrontational. No, to hell with that. This is awesome. This rocks. All anyone did was prey on Auburn softball's downfall, and all they have done is give them the metaphorical middle finger. Excuse me. This team's a 3 seed in the SEC tournament, taking on an Ole Miss team who just upset the 6 seed in LSU. And Bree Ellis goes on her Instagram 2 nights ago and says, most hated team in the country. And we love it. And you just go through the comments. I don't know if you read through those comments. They were awesome. Carly McConaughey, and we love it. Maddie Penta, they want it. They're not ready. People saying, put the word out that Auburn's back up. Auburn was back up all year, by the way. So you're telling me that Auburn softball behind the arm of Maddie Penta gets to take on 11 seed Ole Miss. I'm going to ask you a second. We're going to circle back. This is my whole soapbox segment, all right? Tarr soapbox. 11 seed Ole Miss, and then they get a chance to go back and level things up with a team from Athens, Georgia, that they left that school with a pretty sour taste in their mouth earlier this year. Oh, hell. You don't want to play Tigers. How does Auburn keep themselves from being a victim to a Cinderella story, though? How did they get that done, Dylan?
You put your faith and arms behind the right arm of Maddie Penta.
That's right.
That's pretty much the simple answer. When she's not singing the national anthem in front of a crowd,
or bunting for singles,
or bunting for singles, she can rake. So
I've been told. The rumor has it.
Rumors say she's a Shohei Ohtani of college softball. But yeah. And we say it it just comes down. I hate every week it comes down to this: pitch good, hit good, 1 through 9 all the way down. You get Nelia Peralta, Lindsey Garcia, Bree Ellis pitching, batting third, and then once you get to the bottom, Isis Tresvik has been on a tear.
She has been.
KK McCrary has had flashes or games where she has just taken over the entire offensive production. I think some of her hits kind of led up to the RBIs that she got, won the game for the Tigers. Michaela Packard is the fastest softball player in the country. It's awesome. If you can just get that for the next 4 days,
you're in good shape.
Chef's kiss. It'd be perfect.
So one last, I guess, an intangible I thought. We talked about it a minute ago, and I mentioned how Bree Ellis is really buying in, and the team's really buying into the whole most hated team in the country. People doubted on us. I think you need to play the hell out of that card. I do, because those are the teams that are the scariest teams in the postseason. The teams that were criminally underrated. People have done nothing but doubt them all year. You've seen Auburn not climb up in the power rankings or in the rankings the way that we think is justified. because I don't know what the hell else the rest of the world needed to see out of this team to think that they are a threat to be top 15, top 10, and tell me that they can't compete and go toe-to-toe with every team in the country. That's just bullshit. You need to buy into that. We've got a chip on our shoulder. Don't lose that chip just because you got a first and second round bye. That's just it's imperative. And remember that you have the opportunity to prove every doubter wrong. And I'm telling you, that team did not leave Athens, Georgia with a good taste in its mouth. If you think that if they can get past Ole Miss today, as the show's coming out, that Friday night Auburn Georgia softball game, must watch television, or Friday, whatever. I'm sure it'll probably be a night slot because the games will choke down. Must watch television. Those teams don't like each other. Maybe I'm manufacturing this a little bit, but I know for a fact that the Auburn girls were not happy leaving that school and felt like they'd left some unfinished business there. I like Auburn's chances to not just make some noise in the SEC tournament. I like their chances to make a run to the championship in the tournament. Thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree. And you talk about playing the villain role, you got to play it to a T. As someone who knows how to antagonize more than anybody else, if you're not 100% on it, it does not work, and you're going to need it to work whenever you go against Tennessee. And even if you want to make a run to the Omaha, or is it in Omaha?
It's
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. I was about to say, hold on, you got college baseball there. Oklahoma City. This team's hosting the regional. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, but if you want to make a deep run into Oklahoma City, there's going to be another team wearing red. Not Bama.
Standing in your way.
Standing in your way. A big OU standing in your way. If you're going to play that villain card, play it to a T. Put your faith behind Maddie Pinto, because she has been the most consistent player in Auburn sports this entire year. I'm just going to go, not just softball, Auburn sports in general. No one's been more consistent than Maddie Pinto in sports.
I don't think you're wrong.
And if you can just get consistent all the way through that entire batting lineup, if you can get Bree Ellis, if she could hit 3 or 4 home runs in the next 2 tournaments she's going to be in,
you're in great shape.
Great shape.
You're in great shape. I'm Harrison Tarr, @ Harrison Tarr on the Bird app. I'll be back when I get back. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And thank you guys so much for all your support. We appreciate y'all. We're growing at a rapid pace. The Dylan Larck TikTok's coming. I promise. I've not been on him. That's on me. I've not been holding him accountable. And he's definitely going to wait until I tell him he has to do it, which is justifiable. I kind of did the same thing when it was my turn. Make sure while you're here, like, subscribe, ring the bell. Let us know. Give us your thoughts. How deep can Auburn softball make a run? How deep can Auburn baseball make a run in this postseason? Not to mention, throw in your takes about Payton Thorne and company, about if Auburn has the right pieces to run that RPO, that modified RPO. I'll say it. Well, I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Dylan, always a good time talking ball with you.
I'm Dylan Larck, @ You Boy the Tank on Twitter. If you're watching, it's just right here, right there. @ You Boy the Tank, @YABOY the Tank. Leave your questions in the comments so we can start doing our question of the day segment. I've been waiting for it, but y'all are not asking us questions. You were just calling Tarr stupid, which I also appreciate.
Fair.
Because it means someone else is doing it, and I don't have to do it all the time. So thank y'all for that. But yeah, catch me on the Auburn Daily Show every Monday with Lance Stahl, and Wednesday with, as of right now, Andrew Stefaniak. And catch Tarr on there at some point soon, maybe, hopefully, maybe again. He'll make an appearance.
We'll see when the return happens. It'll be what it'll be. Like I said, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. I'm looking forward to coming back, but taking care of myself right now, man.
And of course, you got us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. If you want to follow us, you can have us here, or you can like, comment, and subscribe. You also have us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. No MySpace, but again, 1,000 subs, we'll get a MySpace. And if you want to listen to us, you guys on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And all that being said, from the College Loop Podcast.